Hey, how you doing? Hello? Hello? Karen? Hey, how you doing, Karen? Can you hear me, Karen? Yeah, you sound perfect. You like this so far? Oh, we're getting ready to go live here, so hang tight. Oh, it's just a voice interview. Here we go. All right, that was an interesting break. Needless to say, like I mentioned earlier, our guest for tonight is Karen Vance Hammond. Karen Vance Hammond is from Shreveport, Louisiana. She graduated from the University of the Ozarks in Clarksville, Arkansas, with a double major in psychology and sociology. Sociology, not sociology. Not only does Karen enjoy writing, she was a soprano for the Shreveport Opera. She has had the pleasure of performing for Bill Clinton and Sam Walton. When she's not writing, she enjoys spending time with her family and her dog, Freckles. I'm assuming that the dog's name is Freckles, not one of her kids. Karen makes her home with her husband and daughter in Houston, Texas. Her novel, Shoe Marks. I'll go ahead and, if it's okay with you, Karen, I've got Karen on the phone right now through Skype. It's okay if I read an excerpt here from the book. Karen, you with me? Okay, good. All right, Karen. It's stated here, John's eyes widen. He felt he was looking right. He felt she was looking right through him, and he was sickened at her appearance. Maggie's eyes were sunken deep into her sockets. Her skin was pale, like white powder, and her fingernails were long, curved, and brittle. She turned and walked up the stairs, looking back at him. With an eerie tone, she said, "Leave." The rain soaked everything in sight. John left the porch and stopped in the muddy puddles and around the property. He noticed a mound of dirt surrounded with rocks and dried wilted flowers. What in the world, he said to himself. John ducked down close to the ground, hoping he wouldn't be struck by the cloud to ground lightning. Before the next lightning bolt, he removed the mud off of the tombstone. John's heart stopped as an M appeared, followed by the letter A. He vigorously moved his hands over the letters as the name and dates became visible. Margaret Horton, 1883 to 1899. Bewildered, he sat back, crawling backward in the mud in disbelief. So, Karen, you've been writing for about how long now? 3 years? How did you become interested in the paranormal? Okay. Right. Things like that will certainly change your perspective. I run into people all the time. I've been on TV and radio for a while, and people often recognize me when I'm at Kroger or Max and Irma's or Walgreens filling a prescription, and they'll come to me with stories much like what you told me. Like my grandmother's house had this, or I grew up in a house that had this going on. What do you think it means? So I can definitely see where you're coming from with that, because that would generate enough interest to make you want to write about it, like what we do. How did you come to write Shoe Marks? What interested you in doing that storyline, that timeline, those specific characters? Yeah. 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 That's amazing. Yeah. Okay. Have you written anything else prior to this? I mean, how many books have you written thus far, and when would they be available? Have you any other ideas, or are you planning on making a continuation series based on this? Hmm. Yeah. 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 SynergyBooks.com. Yeah, you mentioned them to me because I'm currently looking for a new publisher, and you said you were going to put in a good word for me. I truly appreciate that. Oh, thank you. You live up to your word. I understand you have endorsements from award-winning authors and other affiliates like TAPS and the Atlantic Paranormal Society, Ghost Hunters from Sci-Fi, Peace River Ghost Trackers, Houston Paranormal Research, Louisiana Spirits, and of course from my own team, Parks Paranormal Research and Investigation. Yeah. Yeah, it really is a very intriguing piece. I mean, especially your writing style reminds me almost of if, say, Agatha Christie were to be planted in the 21st century and write about paranormal phenomenon. It had that same flavor as like an Agatha Christie novel. Have you ever had anyone compare it to Agatha Christie's work? Yeah. As well as you should. It's a great piece. Where can my listeners get a copy of Shoe Marks? Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good. Shoemark's Facebook page. I'm going to have to look that up as soon as this webcast is over with. I'll have to check that I like it for you. I had no idea you had one. Correct. Okay. Now, with shoe marks, that is inspired by true events that took place in Texas. Now, how did you find out about this house? And if you could tell us how you met one of the original owners of the house too, that would be an awesome retelling if you could get into that. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sounds like the Amityville horror. Ah. Oh yeah. Now, when you went inside the house, did you see the shoe marks where Maggie allegedly died? And what, if anything, any kind of a personal experience in the house when you were with the family member? Ugh. Yeah. Their clocks? Yeah. Definitely a vengeful spirit, I'm sure. So we obviously her spirit is still there now. The rocking chair and furniture that belonged to Maggie, it's still there too, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. What? Why have the owners of the house asked for privacy? I mean, one would assume that it's so people like myself don't go knocking on the door and ask to spend the night. I mean, they currently have it open as a bed and breakfast, but do they have anything at all for the sake of tourism to say, hey, we have a ghost, come check it out? But they're very secretive about that, correct? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah, I can certainly respect that. And it goes without saying, of course. Now, is the house? It's not operating like, as you said, just a bed and breakfast, not a hotel. People come, people go. No one's really allowed to stay for an extended period of time. Now, I understand you experience yourself paranormal. You experienced paranormal phenomenon while riding shoe marks. Did you only experience it in this house, or did it feel like something was actually guiding you or following you along your path in riding this? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Like I mentioned the example of the Amityville mansion earlier. If you remember the story as it goes, when they took some articles with them to leave the home for a short while and stayed at a family member's house, and something followed them from that mansion to where they were staying and was agitating them there as well. So whatever negative energy or vengeful spirit was attached to the Amityville mansion, it actually attached itself to that family and could leave where it was its original domicile and follow them wherever they went, but then it would come back with them too. So what you're explaining to me there, that's why before I do an investigation with my team or even by myself, and before we leave that site, I always open and close with prayer. Always do a blessing before we go in and before we leave. It's almost like taking off your coat and wiping your shoes before you go in, and you definitely want to put your coat back on and walk out facing the room you're exiting. It's a respect factor. Now, I mentioned also the vengeful spirits that existed within the Grudge movies. Have you seen any of the Grudge films? No, that's good Hollywood fun and all, but the vengeful spirits are obviously very real. And that one was more of like a very angry, malicious, vengeful, violent, angry spirit, just basically self-created there to destroy any and everybody that came into contact with it. Now, Maggie does not strike me as that kind of a spirit. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, what was yeah, I can understand that. I'm trying to be careful what I give out on the book as well. I'm really eager to talk about it, but not too much because I definitely want you to sell this book. So, what are some of the other projects you have lined up? Good. Karen's story. Okay, and definitely. I hope my listeners got that web address. We have mentioned it. You have mentioned it 3 or 4 times. I've mentioned it a couple. All right, wonderful, Karen. Well, I'm going to have to go ahead and end this conversation because we are just about out of time. I'm so glad that we were able to to work this out to where we could talk to you, get a chance to hear more about you, so my audience could possibly pick up a new read for summer vacation next summer, Christmas gift, or for just a book to read. I'm sure it's downloadable for Kindle and iPad, right? All right, wonderful. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and let you go. I'm sorry that I took up all your time with watching Desperate Housewives season premiere tonight. I don't know if I interfered with that or not. My wife's watching it right now. She's skipping my show. No big deal. But I will let you go and enjoy your week. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule for us, okay? You're very welcome. You have a great week. All right, and we're going to cut to a quick commercial break and be right back. All right, that was Karen Vance Hammond, and this is Neal Parks. We just had a great interview with a very phenomenal author. Hope that you enjoyed it, and hope that you enjoyed the show, and hope to have you back here next week, same bat time, same bat channel, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, www.psn-radio.com. You can find the archives this week and the upcoming show for next week. Thank you, and you have a great evening, everyone.